All right. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Tito with 15 to Life, and we're going to be doing this recap of the 7 day challenge. So, if you've been following on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, any of the social media outlets, and there'll be a podcast coming out either later today or tomorrow with this information as well. Um, this is the recap. We did a 7 day challenge. It started out prior week, ended on Labor Day. So you can go through, re-listen to it. It's better if you listen to them all and do the challenge before you watch this recap. Don't cheat. So anyway, put together a real quick, simple PowerPoint so we can go through it real quick. Let's get started. So 7 days of writing things down, right? So the main things were on day one, write down your daily distractions. Basically, just go over the stuff that distracts you on a daily basis. Day two was about writing down at least 3 things that you want in your life, like goals, just things that you want to speak into existence, things that you really want, right? You'll notice something in this. It wasn't getting super specific as telling you what to do because it's about what you feel it is. Although for each of these days, I did tell you guys to be specific in what you write down so that it's not this broad answer. I want to be rich. Like, what does that mean? Do you want to have $100,000? What is that, right? List 3 things that you do on a regular workday. And when I say regular workday or Monday through Friday and not just at work, what I mean is the days that you have the most planned out, which is usually you have work and you're doing something before work, you go to work, you're doing something after work, and then you call it a night and then you do it again. And that's your regular repetition or your regular schedule, your regular program, right? So writing down 3 things that you do. And a little bit of a trick question, we'll get into it. Write down at least 2 influential people that you've had in your life, right? Now, these 2 people could be just about anyone, right? They could be someone in your family. They could be a movie star that says a bunch of stuff that you like, or maybe a motivational speaker. It could be me, just plain. Hopefully one day. Write down your definition of what success is to you. So when we're talking about success, it's really to be geared around things that you're trying to achieve. Kind of tying into day 2, but more importantly, these could be smaller things. Like, you've been trying to be able to get up and be out of bed by 7:15, so you wake up at 7 and then it takes you 15 minutes to get out. Whatever it may be. What are the successes, whether small or even big ones? List 2 barriers to reaching your success, right? So what are some things that get in the way? I'm lazy. I don't like getting out of bed. I check my phone and before I know it, it's 45 minutes later, right? What are the barriers? What are some things that get in the way from you achieving that little success or that little goal? Last day was the somber day. The day where we talk about what if you were told you only had 24 hours to live? How would you spend your time, right? And really, that's something that we too often forget. Like, our time is limited on this earth, right? And you never know what's going to happen from one day to the next. Right now, we're in the middle of this pandemic, COVID-19, right? People are dying. And there are a lot of people who have lost loved ones, old and young, right? And they probably didn't think they were going, and they did, right? So be mindful. Now let's jump into it. We're going to start at the end. So day 7, if you were told you had 24 hours to live, how would you spend your time? So what was your response on this? Now, who would you have spent your time with? Now, I want you to really think about that because a lot of us, we might have kids. Bam, our kids are the one. Or maybe you got a grandparent or something and, they're, not too far off from dying. So you want to spend time with them. Maybe it's a wife or a husband, a significant other, right? Where would you go? So if you had 24 hours and you might have been able to go somewhere, Maybe go visit family in another state, another city, another country, whatever, right? And then would you really do that? Because, you only got 24 hours, like how would you really spend that time? Who would you call? Call someone maybe that you had a fight with and you would just want to say, you know what, it really wasn't that big a deal. I don't want to leave this earth on that note with you, right? Who would you call and why? What would you regret not doing? Now, this is a big one, right? Knowing you're out of time. What would you regret that you didn't do, that you probably talked about for days, months, years, decades? Like things that you always like, I wish I could have done that. Knowing that it wasn't so much a wish, that it was just something that you never want to apply the work to get it. Okay. Look at your notes. So if you really did the 7-day challenge, thank you. I appreciate it. Now, kind of look at what you wrote down or what your responses would be. You can write them down right now as we go. And I really want you to think about these things because we're really going to tie all this stuff together. Now, day 6, at least 2 barriers to reaching your success. So what were your barriers? Now, barriers can be all kinds of stuff. If you're talking about weight loss, right? It might be that, man, I eat lunch with my coworkers and they're always going to Burger King and McDonald's and blah, 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 and they eat pizza a lot, or the only food that's available around my job is this, or you know what, I don't have the time to exercise. And people will come up with all these different reasons, right? So what were yours? Do you have control over them, right? So let's go back to what I was just talking about. And you guys got to excuse me, I got a little bit of a scratchy throat. Need some water. But the excuses I was just giving, like there's not enough healthy food around work and, my coworkers always eating out. Bring your own damn food, right? And odds are, damn near everywhere you go, they have something healthy, like a salad or whatever. And yeah, you might say, I don't want to eat salad every day. But do you have control over that? You don't have to go out and eat, right? Another thing, like I don't have time. Do you have control over your time? Like, can you sacrifice one thing to make time for another, right? Someone who's treating you bad, do you have control over that? Maybe your success is, I want to be treated better. Well, if it's a relationship, maybe you leave that individual. Give a timeout, right? To make them understand that if they don't change, maybe that relationship won't be there. That will change, right? A lot of times we act like we don't have control, like our hands are tied and we're locked into something. And it's all bull. The reality is we have control over a lot more than we give ourselves credit for. How can you get around these barriers? All too often, we fall into this victim type mentality or this excuse pond, and we dive right in, and there's millions of excuses that can be said about not doing everything. But if you want to start being an achiever, you want to start reaching your goals, hitting your successes, instead of excuses, come up with solutions. What are the workarounds, right? You really, really, really got to think about those things. Let's keep going. Day 5. Write down your definition of what success is to you. So what is success for you? I've dealt with a lot of people that, like, it'll be simple stuff like, I don't have my license. Okay, cool. So a goal or a success for you is you want your license. What do you need? I got to pay off tickets. Okay, what does that mean? I owe $2,000 and I've never been able to save $2,000. Okay, cool. Once again, you go back to those barriers and everything. The barrier is the money, right? And people act like that's out of their control. It's BS. Like, if you go out and eat, go buy your crap at Walmart, make your own lunches. The $2 or $3 you save a day, you put in an envelope. Before you know it, you got $2,000. You know what I mean? So define things out, but be realistic with yourself about what those barriers are. How does your success play into your personal professional life? So let's use a license as an example. And I've dealt with a lot of people with this where their ability to advance at work, professional, is hindered because you need to have a license to get into this new role, right? You have to be able to drive yourself places. Even if you don't have a car, you need to have a license, right? Personal life, how does that license affect that individual? Maybe that individual has kids. Maybe they don't. Maybe it'll just cut off time it takes them to get to work and then run errands. And now that extra time they have, they can invest in something else that will bring them rewards on the back end, right? So once again, listing out a success or a little miniature goal and then removing the barriers, it changes things on a personal and a professional level. Day 4 was all about 2 influential people in your life. So who were the 2 people you wrote down? Were they friends? Were they family members? What was their relationship? What was the relationship between you and them? Right? This is really important because a lot of times people don't have influential people that they deal with on a regular basis, right? Those influential people, whoever they may be, right, will give so much more to you if you can communicate with them. If it's not the movie star, if it's not Nelson Mandela. Like, don't get me wrong, can Nelson Mandela be influential on you? Hell yeah, influential on me too. But is that a person that's going to help cultivate and develop me to reach my successes, my goals, right? Like maybe reading and understanding what that individual did that now has influence on me will help me, right? But I'm missing out on interaction. I'm missing out on being able to bounce things back and forth. I'm missing out on having some accountability sent my way when I say I'm going to do something, right? So why or how did or do they inspire you? A lot of people say influential person. I'll even use myself, my father. A lot of people say my mom, my dad. They were such a big influence. Cool. That's good. The relationship, familiar, right? Family. That's always going to be good for you. But at the same time, they're going to hold you to a different standard because they wanted you to be a certain way. So whatever things that you are not doing the way they wanted you to do, that's going to block the way they help you, right? And I'm telling you this out of love. I love my parents to death. They are very influential on me. They also were barriers to a lot of my success, and I had to move them out of the damn way. Speaking from experience, I'm speaking from the heart. Mom, Dad, if y'all are watching, love you. But y'all didn't think I could do half the stuff I've accomplished in the last 10 years. So here's the thing. Find people outside of family. At work is cool, but be sure that they're the right people, right? Let's keep going. Day 3 was list 3 things that you do regularly at work. And I got over here this little my daily routine. The reason being, if anyone's ever done like a time management class and they had you like map out everything you do all day, like every 15 minutes you got to put down what you were doing, it's really helpful because you'll see trends, right? And you'll see opportunities to where you can change what you're doing throughout the day to maximize the hours that you have, right? And that's really what this is all about. So what were your regular items that you do? And I'm going to call out some things I do, right? A lot of times I'll have YouTube videos playing on the side. My problem is as much as I've probably watched these, a lot of motivational stuff and self-help and all that kind of junk, right? So a lot of times I can listen and not look and I just do what I'm doing. But I've also seen these videos, so sometimes there'll be parts that I like and I'll turn and watch. And when I turn and watch, now it's gone from background white noise to a distraction. And not to mention every time a video comes on that I don't want or an ad comes on, I have to go over there and click through it, right? So that's something that it's an opportunity for me, right? Right there. Do we have opportunities to improve, right? And why did you list what you listed? Another thing I find with this challenge is people will list good stuff. Like, I helped someone out. I did this. I do this every day. I'm awesome. Bull. There's things that you do that waste time. That's what this exercise was really about, was to look at things. Here's another thing, outside of work, because it's not just work, right? And this is something I've worked on a lot, and I like to think I've gotten a lot better at it, but it's still an opportunity, which is play video games. I've had so many people, my wife included, question me around playing video games when I'm an executive, and like I do all this stuff, and then after I take care of everything, everyone in the world, like I'll find time to play a stupid video game instead of doing something else that's probably more beneficial, right? 100% right. My rebuttal is always that when I play my video games, it's plug in, play, whether it's 20 minutes or an hour. I'm not thinking. I'm focused on whatever's on the screen, but otherwise I don't care, and I'm not worried about anything else. So it's a disconnect from reality for me, right? But at the same time, I realize it is an opportunity, because if I do spend an hour, 3, 4, 5 days a week, well, that's 3, 4, 5 hours. I could have did something like this. So I have totally calmed that down, and I make it very limited, if at all. Like, a lot of days I don't turn my PlayStation on at all. But anyway, what opportunities do you have like that? And it might be watching a TV show, or watching TV shows that are reruns and you're binge watching something, right? But you're sitting there saying, man, if I only had more time to exercise. Well, turn off the damn TV and go exercise, right? So that's what this was. It was about finding some opportunities for you. But also, if you list some positive things, I'm not saying stop doing the positive things, but be cognizant of the things you do on a daily basis. Day 2 was writing down 3 things you want in your life, or goals, right? So what were your 3 items or your 3 goals? Now, here's where a lot of people say, I want to buy a house. I want to get a new car. I want to, travel the world, whatever it may be, right? So what were those things you wrote down? Then, where did they come from? Now, here's something I learned. I got certified as a Myers-Briggs assessment practitioner, the MBTI. Basically, they do the assessment and they give you what your personality traits are and everything. I hardly remember any of it. I still got all the books. I'd have to reread them. But the biggest takeaway I got that applies across the board was all these assessments, and even forget an assessment. When we say we believe in something or think something, so often they're things that were spoon-fed to us, usually from our family, usually from the area we grew up, right? All those friends, spouses, loved ones, all that plays into it. So when you think about it, if someone grew up in a Catholic house that was Republican, the odds are that child is going to be Catholic and Republican, right? Because they're taught that. You're taught to root for a certain football team. You're taught to do this and do that. You're brought up in that sense. So some of these goals you listed, or items you listed, might not really be what you really want. It might even be what your wife or your husband wants, right? So what I learned was you have to do the shoes off approach. And what that means is, yes, you can take your shoes off, but more importantly, you close the door, you turn everything off, no social media, no phone, no nothing. You got a pen and pad, and really put down from the heart what you like. You know what I mean? And that could be food, it could be cars, it could be travel. Like, what do you really want? Now, the other piece of this, right, is, are your goals in alignment with you being successful, which is, success was a few days after, right? And I'll get to this last one in a minute. I want to stick on this one quick second, which is, make goals that better you, better your situation. So if a goal is to get a new car, only let that be a goal if like you can afford it, right? I talk about Gary Vee a lot. I love Gary Vee. He puts out great content. It's all free, Um, but he talks about eating shit for years before he ever spoke or before he hit it big. Like he literally lived in a shitty apartment, shitty car, shitty everything, so he could save up money and invest and do other things, right? So don't make a goal something that's going to be unrealistic for you and your lifestyle. And even if you're rich, do you want to spend all your money on stuff to look the part versus just being the part? And that goes for everything. Like, I've been on a weight loss journey. I'm down 30 pounds right now. But it's for my health and for my family because my daughter's only 4 going on 5. And I want to be healthy when she's older and I'm older. Not to mention, I just feel better. So anyway, next one was, what was a goal you completed recently, right? And how long ago? So what was that goal and what did it take for you to complete it? Maybe you never completed a goal. Maybe you've never set a real goal and completed it. So that's a whole nother aspect. Now, day one was write down them distractions, and that is so much all of us. Like me, I told you one of mine is YouTube, but Facebook and all the other crap is there too, right? So what were some of your distractions? And I'm sure this was probably the easiest thing to write down, 3 or 4 distractions, right? What were some of yours? Have you ever tried to limit or lose those distractions? So for example, if you're constantly looking at your phone because stupid things are bells and pings and stuff, have you just put your phone in airplane mode? Locked up your phone. They actually sell it on, I think on Amazon and eBay and stuff. But there's little phone saves where you can put your phone in there and put a timer on it and it won't open up until that timer goes off and your phone is locked up. That's for people that don't have the discipline to just do it, right? But the distractions are out there. And the distractions keep us from being efficient and productive in whatever we're doing. So whether it's work, whether it's school, whether it's trying to start a business, trying to launch a brand, trying to launch a YouTube channel or whatever, like those distractions will get in your way. What do you think you could accomplish with less distractions? So if you notice, a theme across all this was really outlining some things you want to do and some things that are getting in your way. All right. I have said this. If you follow me on all my different media outlets, you know this. I believe in you. I'm telling you that right now. I 100% believe in everyone. I see potential in everyone. And I know when people put their mind, their heart, and their soul in something, they can achieve everything. I know that. It's a fact. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. But it's not as easy as that one sentence that I just spit out. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. This was my way of trying to provide a short roadmap to kind of help you start getting down the right path. So quick recap, right? This was really like self-evaluation and introspection on yourself to kind of see what you want, where you're at, what you need to do. So it's all about maximizing your time and your efforts personally and professionally. This is all to achieve goals and successes. You must first set them, be specific, make it measurable and time bound. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard about SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound, right? SMART. I will tell you, I don't really believe in SMART goals because the achievable and realistic a lot of times are people's escapes. And so when they're trying to lose weight, instead of saying I want to lose 30 pounds, they'll say I want to lose 5. Hey, it's achievable and it's realistic. Well, yeah, you could like just change your eating habits and do that in a couple of weeks. Now you want to really do it, The goal I set for myself was to lose 42 pounds. And like I said, I'm down 30, so I'm getting close. And best believe when I hit 200, I'm probably going to set a new one to go down to 190, which is what I weighed when I got out of prison, and I was prison strong. Anyway, so set goals, right? Make sure they're specific, make sure you can measure them, and make sure there's a time on them. But be very realistic with yourself on the time. Don't say I want to be a millionaire in 2 months. Like, that's crazy. Don't feel bad about setting a 1, a 2, or a 3-year goal. You can have a lot of milestones along the way that you can check off to feel good about it, right? So let's keep going. Limit your daily distractions. Be focused. So even if you do focused intervals, in other words, you lock up your phone for an hour and you knock out what you probably would have did in 3 hours in 1 hour. Now you got 2 hours that you can be a little distracted and still do some other stuff, right? Just get more focus. Learn how to say no to things. Schedule your time with activities that relate to your goals. Map out your day, people. Map it out. Like whether you use Outlook or you use Google Calendar, whatever you use, start mapping out your day and stick to it. If someone tries to plan something with you and you have something blocked, if you can't move that block, tell people no. The more dedicated you are to your schedule and your success, the more you will be successful. Change things in your schedule that take away from reaching your goals, like playing video games. Either take them all the way out or limit them. Let them be rewards when you hit milestones in the rest of your successes and goals, right? Find 1 or 2 mentors, people that influence you. Mentors. I can be your little virtual mentor, but you want someone that you can share your goals with and that will hold you accountable to them, okay? And you want to be able to communicate with them. You don't want someone who, you send an email to. You want to be able to, like, Skype, Zoom, whatever it is, get on the phone with them, FaceTime them, whatever it is, right? You want to be able to communicate on a regular basis. And most importantly, when you're stuck, you want to be able to reach out and talk to them, all right? So here's something I put together to kind of map this out. Anyone who wants this, shoot me a message. I'll email it to you. This is short and sweet, but this is kind of the cycle that I put together for you guys to kind of follow. Notice that it doesn't have 7 days. These are more 6 steps. So development, determine what goals you want to pursue. Don't do any more than 3 at a time because you're going to overload yourself, right? And you can also break down bigger goals into smaller ones. Analyze, determine what your current use of time is and where modifications are needed. Once again, we just talked about it. Adjust your schedule where needed. Get you some mentors, right? 1 or 2. 1 for sure. You got to have 1 person. Don't have it be a family member, right? Have it be someone else. And you can reach out to people. You'd be surprised how many people would love to mentor someone if they just got asked. Find a business person, an educator, whatever, right? Schedule. Optimize your weekly schedule. Move stuff around. A lot of time for yourself, though. So once again, if you play video games 7 hours a week, get rid of 6 hours or 5 hours, and then make time where these are the times I will go play video games. No one's going to mess with me. You're telling everyone else no. Maybe you get along with your buddies and play. Or you watch that binge Netflix show, whatever it is, right? Scoreboard. So important. Have a scoreboard. So many books, 40X, Discipline, everything else, right, will tell you when you have a scoreboard, you're more likely to achieve goals. Why do the 49ers beat the crap out of every other football team? Because there's a scoreboard. Sorry, I'm a Niners fan. But when teams play each other, if no one was keeping score, they just play. But when the score's being kept, they push harder. They want to be on top. They want to win. You will want to win if you have a scoreboard and you're updating it and sharing it with someone. Maybe it's just your mentor. Maybe you have another accountability buddy. Keep a scoreboard. Celebrate when you win and then repeat. You knock out a goal, get another one on there, right? Start a new scoreboard. Analyze your time again. Figure out if you got to tweak something around. Never stop trying to be the best you, okay? Never stop improving on yourself. You can do anything you put your mind to. I don't want to make this too long, but I'll wrap it up here. You do all this, you believe it here and you believe it here. The next step is in the spiritual realm, which is you have to have the faith. You have to have faith in yourself that no matter what, that is going to happen. You can't just speak something into existence. You have to believe it to a point that no one will tell you otherwise. Have faith in yourself. I have faith in you. This Tito, 15 Alive. I hope the 7-day challenge helped you in some shape, form, or fashion. Please drop a like, subscribe, share, ask questions. I will respond to every comment. And I'll put out some more videos like this if this was helpful for y'all. Appreciate your time. Appreciate y'all. See you next time.